Guys, big news this week I'm very excited about. Impossible Foods is launching their plant-based pork. So you might remember Impossible Foods for their Impossible Burger or their plant-based burger, but finally they are coming out with another product mimicking pork. Now, starting next week in New York City, restaurants will be able to serve the Impossible Pork. Also, restaurants in Hong Kong will be able to get their hands on the pork. But everywhere else, so I live in Europe, and unfortunately, it seems like it's not going to be launched here yet. So I won't actually be able to try it, but I'm excited for everyone else, and I definitely want to hear about it in the comments if you have the chance to try this plant-based pork. Let me know what you think. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it similar to pork? I'm very curious, and it will be a while until I get my hands on this. Like I said, this is not Impossible Foods' first rodeo. They now have actually quite a few plant-based meat products. I think the most popular, which was launched back in 2016, was the Impossible Burger. And really in 2019, when they partnered with Burger King to make the Impossible Whopper, is when that kind of spiked and got very popular. But even after the Impossible Burger, they then made the Impossible Sausage, and they tried to have another deal with Burger King for they used it in a croissant sandwich. But I think that has been discontinued, so that must have not done very well. But even earlier this summer, they launched their plant-based chicken nuggets. So really this plant-based pork is just another addition to Impossible Foods' portfolio. From what I've been reading online, people have been saying that the plant-based pork actually does resemble pork or real pork in taste and texture. And Impossible Foods said they were trying to formulate something that looked like pork, cooked like pork, and tasted like pork, so maybe they have done this. I think the success of Impossible Pork really depends on what segments of consumers they're able to catch, because I could see people who eat meat saying, well, I don't want to eat this plant-based meat, I only eat real meat. But I could see perhaps that different religious groups or people who don't eat meat for a specific reason or don't eat pork for a specific reason, would they want to eat plant-based pork, or would that still be weird for them? Would they feel like they were doing something wrong, even though it is technically made from plants? So what I'm curious to see is if vegans and vegetarians, would those consumers want to eat something that mimics animal meat? So if that's you, please let me know in the comments your thoughts. And also, if you don't eat pork for religious reasons, is this, plant-based pork even something you would consider eating, or are you not interested at all? I would love to hear from you. And what's interesting is Impossible Foods, so they did some blind taste tests of pork and their plant-based pork, and they have said that actually people preferred their plant-based pork. Let me check the numbers. So in their own test, they said over 50% of the people that did this blind taste test, over 50% actually liked the plant-based pork better. I'm a little hesitant just because it was obviously Impossible Foods doing their own testing, so I just like to be extra critical when a company might have motivated reasoning or motivated thinking to have a certain outcome. But what they're claiming is they have, nearly identically matched real pork. One thing Impossible Foods does love to talk about with its plant-based products is how they are more environmentally friendly than the animal alternatives or the real meat industry. And so they gave me some statistics in this article I want to share with you. So they said that their plant-based products, they use about 80% less water, 60% less land, and 70% less greenhouse gas emissions. Again, I want to point out it is impossible who is reporting these numbers, so they have the ability to skew or sort of get the answer they want. But I do think if they're able to produce this plant-based pork or any plant-based meat on a large scale that doesn't require the actual animals and rearing those animals, we could see a pretty big change in the environmental impact of these products. If you're looking at these plant-based products from a health perspective, it seems like Impossible Foods has made a healthier alternative from a calories and fat standpoint, if that's something you are counting. So compared their plant-based pork to a 4-ounce regular piece of pork, here's the key differences I want to point out. The plant-based pork is less calories, so it's 220 calories versus 350 in regular pork. It has less total fat, and it also has less saturated fat, and the plant-based pork will not have cholesterol. And I hate when plant-based products say no cholesterol, because cholesterol is only from animals. Anything made from plants, any food that is plant-based will never have cholesterol. So you don't need to worry about it, okay? One thing I always feel like I need to tell people is that if you are someone who likes a clean label or a very short ingredient statement, this is not going to be your jam. It's just not possible to build something that comes from animals with only 3 or 4 plant ingredients. It is going to require a lot of different plant ingredients to make something that mimics an animal product. So I don't think there's any way that this Impossible Pork, if you looked at the ingredient statement, that it would qualify as clean just from the number of ingredients that have to be put in this product. For now, I'm very interested to see how this plant-based pork does after its big launch. I also think down the line, we may see a lawsuit from the pork industry. I don't know what they call themselves, big pork or big meat. Maybe Big Pig. I like Big Pig a lot. So what I would expect is Big Pig, or people who actually raise pigs to make pork, is going to sue any plant-based pork over the word pork, because they could try to fight that. The word pork sort of insinuates that the product is from a pig. So I could see this ending up in the courtroom, and a judge will have to decide what is the legal definition of the word pork, and can pork be made from a pig, but also from plant ingredients. So we will have to see if anything happens with that. But for now, this is all I have to update you. And like I said, please let me know if you have a chance to try this. I am so curious. Talk to you next time.